Find me down in the meadow, under trees born hollow. Water glows in the shallows, with the light we borrow.
Hey everybody, this is Carl. Welcome to Carl's Opinion. Happy to be back. Been away for about 2 weeks. I think the last time since I did a live stream about 2 weeks ago. And I want to thank everybody who's been out there fighting the good fight. And I've been really busy at work. Required a lot of my time and attention. And as everybody knows, when I do one of these, I do a lot of research. Try to put together a really good show for everybody. And if I didn't have time to do the research and also do the live broadcast, well, I wasn't going to do a live broadcast without being able to do the research. So I can give you guys some really good information, and you could use it yourselves and then comment on it and be able to make for a really good presentation and everything, and it helps both ways, I think. So anyway, just want to thank everybody who's here tonight, and let me double check you down there in the chat. I saw some people earlier. Let me jump over there. Okay. And I see, D.A. Archer, how you doing? Kimberly and Charities Clarity, and see, I saw Pro-Life American 45, as well as Mo. I saw Mo in there. Looks like Christine, and let me just spin this around a little bit. I got a little bit different setup here. As you notice, I'm not in my house. This is a different backdrop, obviously. I'm in a hotel room. Undisclosed hotel, a hotel room inside of an undisclosed hotel, inside of a undisclosed city, inside of an undisclosed state, somewhere in the United States of America, generally on the East Coast. But anyway, so there I am. So yeah, so I got a little bit different setup. I normally do a 3-computer setup. Traveling, I only had a 2-computer setup. I had to pay for an extra bag as it was, and just this kind of way it's worked out here. And it looks like for some reason now it looks like I'm looking at this. I see a I don't know how that got on there, but I see like little my printed words down at the bottom. I don't know if that's something new in the last 2 weeks on YouTube or just something that I'm benefiting from now, whatever. But yeah, just like I said, a little bit different setups to two computer setup instead of a 3. So it's one less computer that I'm operating with. So I'm kind of making one of these computers do double duty. So that's what it's all about. It's live TV, live YouTube, live call-in show, live video call-in show. There you go. So a lot of news to get to. As you know, I was supposed to be going to that event Minds was putting on, the Ending Racism, Violence, and Authoritarianism, and I got a ticket. See, there's a ticket here. Dink. Let me see here. Dink. Dink. There you go. So yeah, that was my ticket, and I actually. And before I left, I made plans to actually go, I emailed the staff because I told them I wanted to, record parts of the presentation and then, play highlights and, at first I wanted to do a live stream from there, but I said, if we can't do that, what I'd like to do is, record parts of the show and then, show highlights, of those recorded parts, that night, when I get back to the hotel. And do a live show then, and provide analysis and commentary on what I'd seen and what I'd heard. And the guy sent me an email back saying, "Yeah, well, you know what? We're recording this, and we're going to be posting it, so we don't want anybody recording the whole show." So I sent him an email clarifying. I said, "Okay, I think what you're saying is you don't want anybody, but I mean, you don't want anybody recording the whole show, but it's okay for me to record portions of it and use that for highlight, and then to." Do analysis and commentary, that night. And he goes, yeah, we're okay with that. And I'm like, oh, okay, So I get there today, and I run into this clown, and he goes, oh, no, you can't do that. And I'm like, I said, hey, man, you guys knew I was coming from, Las Vegas. It wasn't just like, getting in the car and driving down there. So I'm like, hey, I'm like, I came all the way out here, I had to take the red-eye flight, took a day off from work, everything else, and they didn't seem to care. So, some pleasantries were exchanged. This guy's name, he claimed his name was Brian Edwards. I don't know if that's true. I don't know, it sounds like a phony name to me, but whatever. He said, and it was funny because I said, I just have to know what you do for a profession. What do you do for a living? And you remember, like, when you would, like, people would say, like, like, say 20 years ago, you asked them what they did for a living, they said they were in the movie business. And then it turns out they were, they worked at Blockbuster, video. Well, this guy, said, so he hesitated when I asked him what he did. And then he says, he says, he says he's in the medical field. And I'm like, he's like one of those guys I think that calls you on the phone to ask if you want to buy health insurance. I know, like, you're in sales, and he goes, yeah. And I'm like, oh, okay. So anyway, so that ended rather nicely. So I figured, well, I'm not going to sit there through 7 hours if I can't, I'm not going to sit there and take notes, probably misquote somebody and say, hey, this is what I heard today. I'm sure, we might as well just wait 3 days and watch it when they broadcast the whole thing and, and see it then. And I'm like, why am I going to sit here for 7 hours? I'm not a groupie. It's like, oh, maybe I get to meet Tim Pool, or maybe I can shake his hand. Maybe I'll get an autograph, something like that. I'm like, well, no, that what's the point of that? And then it was funny. I even tried to appeal to his business side, because I could tell he was all about business. It wasn't about getting the message out or fighting racism. It wasn't like this guy's selling medical equipment today. Tomorrow he's selling watches. He's selling mines. Whatever. He's just going to sell one thing to the next. So I appealed to his business sense. I said, okay, if I appeal to like a moral, ethical, or like we got to help create a better country and do a better job for our country and get our message out. I knew if I appealed to that, it would go nowhere fast. He'd look at me like deer caught in the headlights. So I appealed to his business and said, hey, look, you're getting free advertising. You get some more hype on this. I'll show some highlights and people want to watch the whole thing. Well, we might be making the wrong decision. I'm like, and again, it was back to the business. And and everybody knows I don't monetize this site. I don't do PayPal or Patreon or anything. I do this, I make a living on my own career. And if people want to make money doing this, that's great. I mean, you want to do broadcasting, you want to make a career of that, that's fine. I don't. So it wasn't like I was trying to make some money off this guy or something, And they made pretty good money because they had, I think, 400 to 500 people at $150 per person. So you're talking 400 people, $150 per person. That's $60,000 right there. I know the venue they got didn't cost them $60,000. Plus then whatever they're going to make on the back end, whatever, and who knows what. So I mean, they were making plenty of money, but I wasn't like trying to like make any money off these people. Again, if you notice, there's no super chat on my site. It's not monetized. There's no PayPal. There's no Patreon. There's nothing. I just want to get the message out, and they didn't seem to be too interested in that. Let's see. I want to know. Hold on. Let me read DA's thing. Hey Tony, how you doing down there? Just saw you pop in. Oh yeah, yeah. The whole thing is like you want to make these phones smaller, right? I got the Note 9, the Samsung Note 9, because it was just bigger. I didn't like the smaller one. It's bigger screen, but also everything's just that little extra like half inch, whatever it is. I'm not sure how much bigger it is. It's not that much bigger. But maybe like a half inch, I think. But that little extra half inch means like quite a bit. But yeah, so a lot of news to get to. As you see here, the headline we got here: DNC sets October date for fourth Democratic primary debate. Also, another big story I saw out there is how the feds used the red flag laws to grab that one Marine guy who said he was going to do bad things to Antifa, and so they used the red flag laws, saying, "Oh, he must be crazy," ex-Marine. It doesn't appear to have a history of mental illness or any kind of criminal behavior whatsoever. But they just went in and grabbed it, and it seems like if you let these red flag laws go through, hopefully they get challenged up to the Supreme Court and get found to be unconstitutional. But if you let these red flags go forward, what's going to happen? You can see it. It's like it's going to be selective enforcement, and that's what you're going to see. And that's in selective enforcement. Anytime you have a law that's susceptible to selective enforcement, then it becomes political. Or somebody in the sheriff's office or the police department doesn't like you, or the mayor doesn't like you, or the city councilman doesn't like you. You're like kind of a gadfly, like a Socrates. You're always asking questions and bothering people with your questions and questioning authority. And why are you here questioning us? Why are you bothering us? And then somebody's going to say, oh, they're crazy. I heard them say something stupid. That's all it takes. The next thing you know, they run to a judge, And depending on the jurisdiction you live in, the judge is like, oh yeah, a judge who hates guns and everything else. Next thing you know, the judge is like seizing your gun, and you got to prove that you're not crazy. Most of these laws are written where the person whose guns are taken away has the burden of proof. In fact, let me jump over to that story. We'll jump right past the DNC. We'll come back to the DNC story. Let me jump over to the red flag story here. There we go. And it's from the Washington Examiner. And you see the headline there: FBI uses red flag law to seize weapons from former Marine who threatened to quote unquote slaughter Antifa. So let's take a look at that, and we'll go from there. All right. So the FBI exercised This was up in Oregon. Oregon's new red flag law to confiscate firearms. Let me just double check something here again. Kind of doing this in the field, and but also just even in the field though, when I did those 3 live events in the field, a 1-day event, 2-day event, and 3-day event, I had all 3 of my computers. So it's just a question of how much you can take. I ended up having 1 extra bag anyway. As it was, I had to pay an extra $150 just for the bag, because I'm like, well, I got to take something. I can't just take the phone out here if I'm going to do this. But anyway, so let's see. The FBI exercised Oregon's new red flag law to confiscate firearms from a former Marine who allegedly said he would slaughter protesters at a demonstration in Portland earlier this month, according to the Oregonian newspaper. In July, Shane Caulfield threatened to kill Antifa members who he feared would take up arms against right-wing activists. He made the threats on a loudspeaker while donning a Make America Great Again baseball cap with a knife and a copy of his concealed carry permit strapped to both shoulders. Well, okay, yeah, he sounds a little bit out there. I've had concealed carry permits before. And I do have a Make America Great Again hat. And I do own knives and firearms, obviously, but I don't think I've never owned a loudspeaker. But got a call coming in. Yeah, this is Carl. You're on with Carl's Opinion. Is this American Joe?
What's going on, Carl? It is. How you doing, buddy?
Doing all right, man. So what are you up to tonight?
Well, I didn't want to interrupt your train of thought on these red flag laws here, but I do have to run out of the house, and I wanted to get you on the air for a minute.
Oh, sure.
I just heard about the Texas shooting on the way home from work today, and ties right in with what you're talking about right now with the red flag laws. I've been in contact with the gun owners of America. They are fighting tooth and nail against these laws.
Okay.
But I don't think it's any coincidence that you notice the El Paso and the Dayton shootings have kind of died down in the media a little bit.
Right.
I think a lot of that has to do with the fact that the Dayton shooter was such a far leftist lunatic. Had he been another right-wing supposed guy, we'd probably still be hearing all about it. But
oh yeah, no, for sure.
It's interesting to me that as we push into 2020, push closer and closer, a week will not go by or 2 weeks will not go by where they can't keep pushing the gun grabbing agenda in some capacity. Now, I'm not this conspiracy guy that's saying that these are hired hitmen or some craziness like that, or I don't know what's going on. I don't know where these people are coming from, why they're losing their minds. There's lots of people with all kinds of conspiracies about that kind of stuff, deep state stuff and mind control crap. And I'm not going there. All I'm saying is it's quite coincidental when you look back at election cycles and legislation that there's always a string of these types of events. And this isn't going to be the last one, let me tell you.
Right.
This is just going to be another one on the road to 2020. And what I told people in a video I put out today, we cannot let the left or anybody convince us that there is some possible way they're going to make us safer in the world by taking away our protection in a dangerous and more dangerous world as we move forward, because the further we go forward in the future, the more dangerous this world becomes. It's just becoming more dangerous because there's lots of crazy people out there. And every time we see one of these shootings, it's just another indicator that you never know when something crazy is getting ready to go down in your neck of the woods.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's like all these people just kind of coming out of the woodwork, like right now, like right this second. We've always had crazy people, right? I mean, we got 330 million people in the country. I mean, you're going to have say 2 or 3, right? So I mean, but it seems like they're all kind. I mean, I'm like you. I'm not a conspiracy theorist. I'm not into all that stuff myself. But it just seems like the timing seems awfully odd. Like they're kind of spaced out. Albeit the Dayton guy, he didn't really wait very long. I mean, he just went like that next day. So he might have been like, like you said, since he wasn't some right wing guy, he might have just been an outlier, just some guy just doing it because he was just crazy and stupid. But yeah, it seems like they get spaced out with the news cycle. You know, that's kind of what I've been noticing.
Well, what else is interesting? Somebody's reporting, and it's not really reporting. Somebody stated that this guy has a pro-Trump manifesto on Facebook again. Now,
Oh,
isn't it
okay.
amazing? You see these people on TV, the pictures of these people, and they look like the stupidest people walking the streets. But they all come along with these beautifully written manifestos that make them seem like the most philosophical people in the world, right? These long 12-page manifestos. And I'm thinking to myself, yeah, I don't think that guy wrote that. I'm pretty sure that guy didn't write that. And of course, they can report anything they want to report. The news can say anything, do anything. And what do? We just watch the news, and we just have
Right.
to say, okay, I
Yeah.
guess that idiot over there did write this manifesto.
Yeah. I mean,
I
I
don't
mean,
know.
I mean, it seems. I mean, like well, the last guy didn't he had a man. Well, the one guy, the one leftist had a manifesto too. The guy up in. Well, you never hear about this guy. The guy who I guess he wasn't successful at killing a bunch of people. The guy up in Oregon also wasn't Oregon where they went up to the ICE location. Or was that Washington? I want to say it was Oregon though. The guy with the homemade fire bombs and the rifle and his rifle jammed. He was trying to shoot it out with the cops, but his rifle jammed. That old guy,
Yeah,
the
yeah.
Antifa guy. Yeah, of course you never hear anything about him. And even if he had killed a bunch of people, like well, hell, Steve Scalise got shot. The guy was gunning for a bunch of Republicans. That story died. I was waiting for all the big gun control arguments from the media after that shooting. But of course, if it's the leftists, they don't talk about gun control because they want to bury the story, really quick. But if it's the guy on the right, then of course we hear
Right.
about gun control and everything else. But it does seem like they are kind of like spaced out. Just where the news cycle gets slow and then all of a sudden something pops up again. So I mean, I
Yeah,
didn't
and you know what's coming. You know what's coming up, right? Congress is going back in session
September,
in
yeah,
just a couple weeks, and it's
yeah,
going to be all about gun control, and they're going to use this as another springboard or a platform to try to push through some red flag laws. And we can only hope and pray the Senate does the right thing. So if
yeah.
the Senate does the right thing, votes it down, we're good. If they screw us over, then we know what we got to do in 2020. We got to get all of them out of there and get new people in there because they're not our allies. Anyone who takes away your Second Amendment right to carry a firearm is your enemy. Plain and simple, they are not your ally. They are not your they sure as hell aren't your representative. They are trying to disarm you in a very dangerous world. They are my enemy. Period.
Well, let me ask you this question because the question was asked: would have the red flag the House version, like you got the House version and the Senate version, and obviously the House version is more radical on gun control than the Senate version. But even the House version, they asked, would if the House version had passed red flag laws and all that stopped the guy in Dayton, the guy in El Paso, and the guy in Northern Cal at the Garlic Festival? And the answer came back, no. Now, are they making the pitch that the red flag, like was this guy showing craziness and people called up on him like that kid in Parkland and nobody did anything? Or are they? I haven't followed the story at all, so I'm hearing it right from you. So have you heard anything like
Yeah,
that?
absolutely. And think about this, Carl. If they want to try to use, let's say, the idea that if you go to a counselor and you say you're depressed or you have certain feelings that you're trying to work through, okay, or PTSD or anything of those things, those can then become mechanisms that the law will use to come and disarm you. So what's that going to do? That's going to discourage anybody from ever going to get any kind of help or talk through situations or because they don't want to be disarmed.
Right.
And here's the other thing that people got to realize. No red flag law can ever be used to prove to me, you, or anybody else that they prevented anything because it's pre-crime. So even if you say we took weapons away from 500 people, we don't know that those 500 people were going to do anything with those weapons.
Yeah, I mean, it's not
So
a
you
time.
can't
Yeah.
prove a negative, and that's what they're trying to do. They're trying to say they're going to prevent something. You can't prove that that could ever actually be an effective tool.
Well, the weird thing is like if you want to like make a law against the First Amendment, like in our town, we had to write a law where you couldn't fly the Mexican flag above the United States flag. And, they asked me to draft it, and I had to do all this research into it. And when it comes to the First Amendment, it's got to be a real specific, huge, big thing. If you're gonna impinge on somebody's First Amendment rights by saying you can't fly the Mexican flag over the U.S. flag, because but I was able to make it. I was able to write the law in such a way where it was constitutional, because I said, look, basically what you're flying the Mexican flag for is to say, I love Mexico. Well, that can be easily accomplished by flying a banner that says, I love Mexico. And then you don't run into a problem. The code section says, I know you know this, the American flag has to be flown higher than any other flag. You can fly
Yes.
the Texas flag, all that stuff, but the American flag has to be above it. You can fly a foreign flag, but the American flag has to be above it. So I use that statute in conjunction. But when it comes to Second Amendment, it's like they kind of throw out the window, that whole concept of, boy, you better have a really super great reason if you're going to violate somebody's Second Amendment rights. Then nobody cares. Nobody brings up that argument. But I guarantee you, I think if these red flag laws got to the Supreme Court, especially the way they're written, where you have the burden of proof to prove you're not crazy to get your guns back, I think if those go up to the Supreme Court, I think they get struck down. I'll tell you that right now. I think they get struck. Even with Roberts on there, I think they get struck down.
Well, here's the thing, though. We've already had red flags on the books in 17 states for years, and nothing has made its way to the Supreme Court yet. So in the meantime of these long process of making its way to the Supreme Court, it could be another 6-7 years of you being disarmed by your local government. And who knows when somebody's going to decide to break into your house.
Yeah, I'll be honest with you. I'm not sure why, because the only thing I can think of is you'd think, generally the people who have their guns taken away from them don't have a lot of money to be able to afford attorneys to go through the appeals process and stuff. But you'd think that would have been a case like the NRA would have found somebody. Now, here's the other problem. Maybe, possibly, everybody who was in a aggrieved party was a complete whack job. It would have been a bad case to take up. So they're waiting for, say, someone like you or me who has them taken away, someone who can say, hey, I'm not crazy. They took them away anyway. I went to court. I proved I wasn't crazy. They kept them anyway, because the Supreme Court appeal has to be based on the permanent taking of your weapon. That little temporary thing for 30 days, 60 days, that's not going to rise to the level of infringing on the Second Amendment. The Supreme Court wouldn't say that. So it has to be somebody whose guns were taken away, but who is not crazy. I mean, it's not a complete lunatic. Okay, it has to be a good case. If you're going to bring that, you want to bring a good case. Like when they brought Roe versus Wade. They were waiting for that one great plaintiff, to bring it, and and Roe was her, she was that great plaintiff. So you got to find that great plaintiff. Unfortunately, somebody who's normal, not crazy, a good guy, a guy who is provable innocent. And they kept him anyway. Like here, a great case, the bakery guy. You don't want to make the wedding cakes for the gay couple. Okay, that was a good plaintiff. He came with all the great bells and whistles. He wasn't crazy. He hadn't posted a bunch of tweets, calling people, really slurs, homosexual type slurs. He wasn't a guy with anything in his background. As an attorney, when you're looking to take something up to the Supreme Court, you don't want any distractions. You want a really clean plaintiff. So, someone like us is going to have to be that clean plaintiff. And maybe up until now, there hasn't been one where they look, we don't want to take this one up, because we get a bad ruling, then it's set. So we want to wait till we get a good plaintiff, a good case, and we take it up, like the D.C. gun case. That plaintiff in that case was a good plaintiff. The guy where the D.C. tried to say you can't own a gun, you can't carry a gun in your house. The Heller case. Oh shit, the Heller case. The one Scalia ruled on. He was a great plaintiff, and they were waiting for that. They were waiting for that. Not the gun nut, right? The guy.
There is a case out there, Carl. There's a case out there.
Yeah, tell me.
I don't know the guy's name off the top of my head. I'd have to get it for you, but he was the victim of a red flag law because one of his family members reported him to the police. The police showed up at his house at 5 o'clock in the morning to disarm him. He shows up. He opens his door with a handgun because it was 5 o'clock in the morning, and they shot and killed him.
Ooh.
And so,
not good.
And he was a veteran. I believe he was a veteran too. So he was a veteran, I think. Don't quote me on the veteran portion.
Yeah.
But I do know he was shot and killed by police in his own home, responding to a order to obtain weapons due to a red flag by a family member. Now, his family is probably very distraught, doesn't want to have anything to do with any kind of lawsuits, but I mean, maybe at some point, I don't know, you know the law way better than I do, obviously, but maybe some organization can take up a lawsuit in his name or in his honor of some sort. I don't know. As an example case of why these are so dangerous.
Yeah, and I'll tell you right now, that's probably not the one you want to take up either, because he never had, like, in other words, they were coming to get his guns, right? They hadn't taken them yet.
Right, and he didn't know anything about it. They show up at his door at 5 o'clock in the morning. He answers with a handgun, because that's what I do when I go to the front door.
Oh yeah,
You know?
no, I'm the same way. If you're knocking on my door and I don't know, I'm not expecting company, I'm like, well, I always have my gun on me anyway. So, but even if I'm expecting company, if you come to my door, you can see me carrying a gun, in a holster. But yeah, at 5 o'clock in the morning, somebody's banging on my door. I don't know who you are. Yeah, I'm coming. I'm coming with that gun. I'm definitely in a holster, maybe even in my hand. And so he opens the door, and the cops just boom, shoot him right down.
Yeah, he's dead.
Oh, wow. Yeah, and unfortunately, I know this sounds stupid, but so they never took his guns. They were coming to get him. That's probably not the right case to take up. Because they didn't take him yet. I mean, the whole wrongful death thing, they shot him, because you'd have to claim that, gee, it's foreseeable if you go to take somebody's guns that, you may end up in a shootout. Oh, yeah. See, there's an old saying, tough cases make bad law. In other words, like, this is a tough case, meaning that there's a lot of pain involved. There's a lot of family members. This guy died for no reason. He got killed. That's a tough case, and we got to do something. It's, but that's probably not. Unfortunately, that's probably not the right one to take up. I know that sounds stupid.
Well, I'm gonna find it. I'm gonna find the details for you. I'll shoot it to you over an email so you can look it over. I just think
that would be great. Yeah,
absolutely incredible.
Yeah,
absolutely incredible.
What city? I apologize.
Here's a funny story to kind of lighten up a little bit for you, Carl, because we're
talking
about some dark stuff here. But
yeah, go ahead.
Me and my wife, whenever we're sitting on the couch watching the TV, right? Anytime the doorbell rings, any time of day, we both grab a gun and look at each other like, who the hell is that? And I contrast that to when I grew up in my mom's house, right? And people knock on the door, ring the doorbell, and we just happily go over there and open it. Hey, how you guys doing? Now it's like, who the hell is at my front door?
Right. Why is somebody coming to my front door? Right. No, we're the same way. But you have to be nowadays. I mean, you don't know who else coming to your door. I mean, shit. I mean, you see all those stories. You don't see them on the national news too much, but you see a lot of stories if you look close enough on YouTube and stuff. Where all right, somebody will answer the door at 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock in the morning. Hey, I ran out of gas. Hey, this, that, and the other. Next thing he's in your house. He's torturing you and your family, and you're dead. So I mean, yeah, screw that. I'm not going to be part of that story.
I live in a town where home invasions are very popular. They happen a lot. And one of the scenarios that these criminal people have been doing is they send a young girl to the door, very, very distraught-looking young girl. As soon as somebody opens the door to try to help the young girl, the thugs come from around the corner and enter the home. It happens all the time. And so you just can't trust anything these days.
No,
that's why I say whenever I see a horror movie and a little girl walks in the room, I'm saying pop her in the head before she freaking kills everybody.
I live in Pahrump, Nevada, and like just about everybody up here, including liberals. I mean, I know a lot of liberals up here, and everybody's armed. Everybody has a gun, and the criminals know it. So we have I was sitting around with a bunch of prosecutors and defense attorneys who were waiting for our cases to get called, and we were back in the judge's jury room, and I said, has anybody ever prosecuted or defended like a home invasion, during the day at night? Of a citizen, not like of one drug dealer ripping off another drug dealer. But I mean, has anybody ever prosecuted or defended one of those cases up here, where a regular citizen got broke into at night when they were home? And we all looked at each other. Nobody had ever remembered defending one or prosecuting one. Because the criminals know that in my town in Pahrump that everybody, even the liberals, everybody's got a gun. But one night I'm at home. This is years ago. And, and I hear squad cars going by, and okay. And then all of a sudden I hear a bang at my door, and I'm like, well, what the shit, So I go, of course, prepared, and I go, who's there? And this lady's like, help me, I need to come in and get safety in your house or something. And I'm like, I go, what? I go, what are those squad cars? Oh, I called the police on my husband. Can I wait in your house? And I'm like, no, you cannot wait in my house. I'm not. I tell you what, though, I'll call it in right now and let them know where you're at. Okay. Oh, don't do that. And I'm like, well, no, that's what I'm doing. And sure enough, I grabbed the phone and I called. I said, hey, the lady just called dispatch, and they go, yeah. I go, she's right in front of my front door right now. If you want to come talk to her, oh, thanks. Click. So, no, it's like, sorry, I'm sorry, I'm not running a shelter, in my house, Carl's YouTube
What
channel
happened to
and
our
shelter.
country, Carl? What happened when I was growing up in Ohio? I mean, we would sleep with the doors of every door in the house was open, not open, but unlocked.
Yeah.
You could always park your car anywhere you wanted to, unlocked. It was no big deal, man. No, nothing ever happened. Of course, I lived in a little rinky-dink town nobody's ever heard of, 40,000 people, but.
Yeah.
I tell you, man, the world has gone to hell in a handbasket, and they want to take away my weapons. Just absolutely amazing.
Yeah, and it's what somebody had a good. It wasn't my line, and I wish it had been. But it was a really good one. It was like, what were they saying? They said, "Oh, they're claiming all these Nazis are forming up in our country, and now they want to take away our guns." Like, wait a second, of all these Nazis running around, this is the last thing you want to do is take away our guns to protect us from all these Nazis running around. It's like, you say all the right. You got all these Nazis coming up. They're trying to take over power. It's like, well, shit, don't disarm us. Who's going to fight? It's like there was an episode. It reminded me
to give the Nazis our guns,
right? Because they're going to keep theirs. It reminded me of an episode of The Simpsons where Lisa, it was a gun control thing, and Lisa wanted to, get rid of all the guns. So they had we're getting rid of all the guns, and they burn all the guns up and stuff. And as soon as they're burning them up, the aliens go, oh, now we can invade Earth. They're giving all their guns up, and they form the big peace thing on Earth and stuff. So the aliens come down, and they start conquering them, and they have no guns. And these aliens are like stupid aliens. They said, oh, your superior intellect, you're no match for our feeble weapons. They had like little slingshots and stuff. And the guy goes, hey, leave me alone. And the alien shoots a slingshot at him. Like, they don't even have any weapons, And he goes, God, it'd be nice if I had a shotgun right about now. Thanks, Lisa, for destroying all our guns around the world. But yeah, it's like the Nazis are coming. It's like, well, good. Make sure we have our guns so we can protect ourselves from them. Oh no, we got to give them away. Well, what the hell? But I can't remember who the hell said that
exactly
line.
What happened in Germany.
Yeah, I don't remember who said that line, but boy, that was right on point. I said, yeah, shit, that was perfect.
Now, why do you think, Carl? Why do you think they're pushing for background checks, which we already have massive background checks everywhere? The reason they're pushing for background checks is not because they care about protecting anybody. All they want is a detailed registry, a government record of where every weapon in America is.
Oh,
so
yeah.
that when they go to each door, they know who's armed, where the weapons are, and how many there are inside the house. That's all they care about. They don't care about anything about protection. It's ridiculous. So Carl,
okay, man.
I'm going to leave you with one thing.
Yeah, please.
I'm going to leave you with SB 288. This is completely on a new topic. It's a California bill, SB 288, for your audience to look up.
Okay.
California wants to allow illegal aliens to become members of local politics in the state and local level in California. They want them to be able to be politicians. So just think about that. Let your audience wonder why California would want illegal aliens to take part in politics in a local and state level. SB 288. I got to run, buddy.
All right. Take care. Have a good one.
Bye-bye.
All right. Bye-bye. And that was the Great American Joe with a really good call in there. Thank you, American Joe, for calling in. Yeah, that SB shit. I didn't write. I went to look for a pen. Oh, I had one right here on me. Dummy. I think it said SB 288. I think it said, but it's like basically you ever heard something about illegal aliens? Illegal aliens are foreign nationals. So it's not just they're here and they're just undocumented workers. No, these are foreign nationals. So, this bill obviously is saying, well, we want foreign nationals to be running our government. It's like, well, wait a minute. Are you people insane or something? It's like, where the hell did that come from? It's like, foreign nationals? They're not U.S. citizens. They're foreign nationals. They could literally, say they're from Mexico. They could literally, if they're illegal, which means they're not U.S. citizens here, they haven't renounced their citizenship in the country of Mexico. Probably 99.8% positive about that. They literally could just walk back across the border and say, hey, I'm back, and say, oh, hey, welcome. Hey, where you been? Oh, I was up north. Okay. Still a Mexican citizen. Still a citizen of the country of Mexico. So these are foreign nationals, and now I guess they want to pass a law that says they can they can become politicians. Oh, it's like at the state and local level. That's amazing. Like, yeah, just hand the whole country away to another country. Why not? It's like it's like Canadians. It's like, yeah, illegal Canadians. We would be next. Illegal Canadians able to run the country. Foreign nationals be able to run the country. It's just crazy stuff. It's crazy talk going on out there. But yeah, thanks again, American Joe. Let me pull that one thing down over here. There we go. But yeah, so yeah, live up. I took the. What did I do with the calling numbers up? That's why nobody has the calling numbers. They were up and they came down. So let me get them back up here real quick. Hold on, guys. Again, I'm little just let's see. Here we go. Sorry about that. Yeah, the live call-in number there it is, 775-273-8970. Or if you want to appear by video call, just let me know in the chat. Again, I'm one computer short, so I won't necessarily see the chat real quick. So I don't go like, if you send me a chat, hey, I want to do a video call, I don't see it right away. Don't kill me. I'm probably one of the production screens instead. So that third one gives me the ability to constantly look at the chat room all the time. So without that's one big thing that hamstrings me with only the two computer setup. So. But yeah, I got to flip back and forth between production screens and stuff. But yeah, it's my problem. Who cares? But anyways, let's see here. In fact, speaking of which, let me check the chat. Let's see. Hold on, I'm going to take a second and look over there. Charity's Clarity says she's calling when she's done eating. Oh, well, make it a good meal. Always got to eat a good, healthy meal. Remember, you want your meat product, then you want like some kind of a starch, and then also don't forget the vegetables, some kind of good roughage. That's always important. And make sure you eat a good balanced meal. Make sure remember you can take as much as you want on your plate. You got to eat all that you take. Leave nothing behind. Because think of all those poor kids in. Well, I don't know. The United States, we pretty much ended poverty around the world and starvation, so we feed everybody with our money. So I can't even say people are starving anywhere now. I don't know. I'm sure somebody's starving. I'm sure somebody. Oh, Venezuela. Think about all those poor kids in Venezuela. They're starving. There we go. Okay. So yeah, make sure you finish all your food on your plate. That's definitely important. But okay, let's get to the. Let me jump over to the next story over here. Let's see what we got here. Oh, actually, let's just come back to this one and actually go through it. Let's see here. Boom. All right. Okay. And let's see. Get over here. All right. So FBI uses red flag law. Let's see. Penny a la vodka. Chicken vodka. Penny or no pasta and vodka. There you go. Good deal. Hey Bruce, how you doing down there? See you down there. All right, let's see. Let's get here. All right. So FBI uses red flag law to seize weapons from former Marine who threatened to slaughter Antifa from August 31st from the Washington Examiner. All right. FBI exercised Oregon's new red flag law to confiscate firearms from a former Marine who allegedly said he would slaughter Antifa protesters at a demonstration in Portland earlier this month, according to the Oregonian. In July, Shane Cofield threatened to kill Antifa members who he feared would take up arms against right-wing activists. He made the threats on a loudspeaker while donning, oh, that's right, I just read this, donning a Make America Great Again baseball cap with a knife and a copy of his concealed carry permit strapped to both shoulders. Okay, like I said, I own a Make America Great Again hat. Concealed carry permit, yep. Knife, yep. Gun, yep. But I doubt I would kind of like the megaphone, bullhorn I don't have, so. But I doubt I would go buy a bullhorn and do something like that. I mean, if you want people to think you're crazy, if you want people to know you're crazy, not just think it, they have some doubts, do something like that and confirm all doubts. He's an ex-Marine. He knows better. But still, let me read on about the story. If Antifa gets to the point where they start killing us, I'm going to kill them next, Cofield said outside of Portland Mayor Ted Wheeler's home. I'd slaughter them, and I'd have a detailed plan on how I would wipe. Well, Anyway, FBI's Joint Terrorism Task Force responded within days to seize all of Coldfield's weapons. Agents cited the red flag law to temporarily confiscate the guns, though Coldfield has not committed a crime. The law allows law enforcement, blah, blah, family members to ask a judge to issue extreme risk protection order, prohibits certain individuals from owning weapons. Statutes intended to be proactive to inhibit violence before it can occur. And many states are enacting similar laws. Yeah, I was going to tell American Joe, like, Nevada enacted one, so yay. So I'm under a red flag law right now. So nobody call in and tell anybody I'm crazy. Phil Lemon, Oregon's acting deputy state court administrator, said Coldfield gave up 5 guns, including an AR-15. Coldfield also admitted to a veterans hospital in Portland and spent 20 days there. Well, if you spent 20 days there, because generally they look to kick you out as quick as possible. Generally like you'll hear like a legal 2,000, 72-hour hold. And a lot of people who go in for those 72-hour holds don't even stay there full 72. I mean, 24 at most. Sometimes 48. Very rarely do you see 72. They kept this guy for 20 days. So must have been something going on. And then he even admitted, he goes, I looked unhinged. I looked dangerous and have the training to be dangerous. Let's see. So, yeah, I mean, he's got to use common sense. Use common sense with Elizabeth. Use common sense. But, yeah, you can't be, doing all this stuff. But anyway, all right. So let's see here. Let's get on some immigration news. Illegal. This is from immigrationreform.com, and it says economic patriot Elizabeth Warren misses a mark on jobs. All right. Let me see here. All right, so let's take some Bob Dane. Let's see what he has to say. All right. So Democratic presidential contender Elizabeth Warren is blasting U.S. companies that ship jobs abroad while the self-styled quote-unquote economic patriot leaves the door wide open for illegal aliens to work here. A lot of giant companies refer to themselves as American, but let's face it, she says, they only have one real loyalty, their shareholders. A Warren administration will halt the hollowing out of American cities and create good American jobs, Warren tweeted this week. The Massachusetts senator singled out Levi Strauss, General Electric, and the maker of the now famous number 2 pencil for moving jobs out of the U.S., and then this author writes, she's not wrong about that. Warren also assailed Washington, D.C. politicians to allow, quote-unquote, allow companies to call the shots on trade agreements and the tax code. This author says she's not wrong about that either. But in failing to address immigration and border security, Warren is only half right, and her allegedly patriotic agenda collapses. In other words, she's saying, well, we shouldn't ship. If you think about it, this guy makes a really good point. That's why I like reading this stuff, because I was like, man, that's a really good point. He's saying, okay, she's concerned about American companies shipping jobs overseas to foreigners, right? Foreign nationals, because foreigners are taking American jobs. That's what she's saying, and she's concerned about that. So it doesn't make any sense. If you're concerned about foreigners taking American jobs, why would you hold on? Why would you be in favor of allowing foreigners to come into this country and take American jobs? And like that old adage, illegals only do the jobs that Americans won't do. Well, we saw that to be a bunch of bullshit down in Mississippi when ICE came in and grabbed, 680 employees of that chicken processing plant, a couple of different plants. And, the company had to have a big job fair. And I think it was the following weekend. And like all these people for who Americans that were living there in the area, near the area, probably had to drive quite a ways to get there, were down there applying for jobs. And you saw Americans who were white. You saw Americans who were black. You even saw Americans who were Hispanic. But, they were U.S. citizens or green card holders. They were legal. And they were looking for work. And the one guy says, I need a job. And I can do this job, and, it's good pay. So the nonsense that only, these are jobs illegals are doing that only they will do, Americans won't do, that's why they're doing them. No, it's that, the only thing to say about that is employers know they can take advantage of them. They can work them overtime and say, we're not going to give you that overtime. Oh, really? And then the employee's like, wait a second, you have to pay me my overtime. And the employer picks up the phone and goes, what's that number for ICE again? And the employee goes, okay. So, I mean, it takes advantage of the American worker. I mean, we're getting ready to celebrate Labor Day here this Monday, and here we are. We have a system set up in place where labor, whether it's illegal or legal, is being taken advantage of, and also they're able to keep, you don't give them raises, you don't have to give them raises, you don't have to give them anything, and you can pay them bare minimum wage or just above it. Why? Because if they complain, who are they going to complain to? They're here illegally. And the employers know that. So, on the weekend of Labor Day, we're celebrating Labor Day this Monday, we should all get together and say we want to protect the international, there we go, we'll sound kind of like communists. We want to protect the international workers of the world. We want to stop illegal immigration because illegal immigration encourages the exploitation of labor at the hands of the greedy capitalists. Ooh, greedy capitalists. Ooh, evil. Evil, greedy capitalists. It was captured like that. What are they going to say? It's like, whoa, yeah, you're right. Those damn capitalists are taking advantage of illegal immigration. We should halt this illegal immigration right now. And then by the time, since they're stupid, by the time they realize they've just made our argument for us and we got them into a trap, it'll be too late. The laws will be passed. The president would have signed them. It's like, oh, no, we gave it away. Damn you people. You appeal to our communistic instincts. We can sing that one really cool song, that Russian song. What song is that? It's the Russian national anthem. I tell you, want to hear a cool song, just play that over and over again. It's like, wow, that's cool. Then we can play that in the background, while we're, holding up, sickle and hammer, saying we're fighting to protect, the international workers of the world. Just make it sound international. That always sounds communist, So anyway, there's my plan. Let's try that. see how that works. I know that's stupid, but anyway, but this guy makes a good point. It's like you're so worried about these companies shipping jobs overseas, but instead of don't be so worried about the companies shipping jobs overseas. Worried about companies theoretically shipping the workers into the United States to take the jobs from the Americans. Maybe that's even cheaper. You don't have to move any equipment. You don't have to transport any of the factory equipment or go rent space someplace, or whatever. You could just leave the equipment in place and then just bring in the foreign nationals, and cut out the middleman. You don't have to pay anything. These people pay their way to get it. They pay the coyotes, what, $3, $4, $5, $10,000 to get over here. You do it that way. So, let me take a look at the chat again. Let's see here. Let's see. Oh. Well, common sense. Sorry you're having some trouble there. Damn. Wow. Crazy. Oh, well. Well, there are some weird people on the internet. I was talking to my wife, about the event, that happened today with, me emailing and stuff and getting the all good to go on the email saying, yeah. And then I said, wow, I can't wait to get there. I'm going to have a great time. I said, oh, yeah, happy to. Awesome, man. That's what he writes back, And she goes, you always say there's some weird people on the internet. And I said, yeah. She goes, well, the people you were dealing with today, at this Minds conference, aren't they on the internet? And I'm like, yeah. She goes, well. And I'm like, I couldn't even argue with her. How do you argue at that point? It's like, yeah, I just, I ran into some more weird people on the internet. They just happened to be holding a conference at some casino in Philadelphia, which, yeah, whatever. But anyway, so she goes, well, they're on the internet. Maybe they're weird. And I'm like, yeah, I think they are. Well, they're not. I want to say so much weird. They're just greedy. They're just greedy. They don't believe in the cause. It's whatever. So, it's just, but nonetheless. All right, so let's see here. Hey, Pete the Patriot, how you doing down there? Good seeing you down there. And Rocky, hey, Rocky. How you doing there, Mr. Rocky? Let me write something up there to you real quick here. Let's see. Yay. But, all right, let's see. We'll find us another interesting piece of news today. Let's take a look. Okay, here we go. Mayor Pete. Buddy G is sued over illegal alien ID cards. Yeah, this is kind of goofy. This is from, again, Let me pull it up. ImmigrationReform.com. If you're not a subscriber to ImmigrationReform.com, you should. It's actually a really good site. They cover a lot of stories you don't always hear a lot about, which makes a lot of sense. A lot. But anyway, so yeah, they kind of deep dive into some stuff too. They got some really good writers. Bob Dane, he publishes a lot for them. But anyway, let's take a look at this. This is when I read this a few days ago. I was like, oh, this is crazy. South Bend, Indiana Mayor and Democratic presidential candidate Pete Buttigieg is bringing illegal aliens out of the shadows while keeping his city's taxpayers in the dark. Go figure. Following the lead of New York and L.A., Buttigieg created a community resident card that enables illegal aliens to access city services. Think about that. Like you know, he didn't want to come out and say give him a driver's license, right? Because he knows it catches a lot of pushback. So he gives them a community resident card. So if you're illegal, you get a community resident card and enables illegal aliens to access city services. The SBID is officially recognized by local law enforcement, schools, the water utility, libraries. Let me see if I can punch this up a little bit bigger. Is this not big enough? It looks pretty small down there. Let me see. There we go. That might be a little bit better. Okay, let's do that. I mean, hopefully read that a little bit better. I might cut off part of the end there, but hopefully you'll be able to read a little bit better. Let me take a look. See if it does. No, it's not too bad. Okay, following the lead of New York and Los Angeles, Buttigieg created a community resident card that enables illegal aliens to access city services. The SBID is officially recognized by local law enforcement, schools, the water utility, libraries, and other municipal agencies per the mayor's executive order. But there's a key difference. Buttigieg's program is a private venture. Wink, wink. Seeking information on SBID, Judicial Watch of Washington, D.C. filed repeated public records requests to ascertain its cost and its operation. The city refused to provide any information. So you normally have open records laws and stuff like that. If you're a municipality or something, you have open meeting laws. You can't negotiate with other, you can't get together with other members of a city council or a town board or a county commissioner. You have to do all your deliberating about an issue, unless it's considered a closed issue, like a legal issue, like somebody suing the city. You have to discuss all that openly in front of people, which is weird if you think about it. People like to, talk, privately about issues, but no, anything you discuss has to be talked openly on the record. So anyway, so they're saying, hey, look, you got this little SBID law going on. That's, public record. We want to see it. Oh no, it's a private company, so we don't have to show it to you. It's like, what do you like? The, Strzok and Page and Comey and all those people? Like, well, or it's that Italian guy, Misford. It's not us. We have nothing to do with him. It's like these guys, like Mayor Pete Buttigieg. He's like, well, it's his private company. We can't make them give us the records. But anyway, so the city refused to provide any information, saying that SBID is administered by a third party known as La Casa de Amistad. La Casa isn't divulging details either. Buttigieg doesn't talk about SBID on the campaign trail, and he dodges questions about South Bend as a sanctuary city. I don't know. I regard us as a welcoming city. That was his response to an answer. It's like that was a total BS answer that had already been scripted. It's like, hey, if somebody asked, they said, okay, if somebody asks you about, are you a sanctuary city, say, I don't know. All I know is we are a welcoming city. So you're adding that his police force doesn't enforce immigration laws. Doing this kind of ID program privately comes with a prominent benefit, namely confidentiality. Okay. The best way to make sure sensitive data isn't shared is to make sure that you don't have any sensitive data to share. So in other words, like, show us all the records you have on this. Well, we got this check. Here's a picture of a check we got going out to pay these people to do this. That's it? Well, no, everything is in-house. They do it all. We don't have any record. We don't attend any meetings. We didn't take any notes. We just said, oh, you want a contract? Here you go. So there you go. Right. So the saying is the best way to make sure sensitive data isn't shared is to make sure you don't have any sensitive data to share. Judicial Watch filed suit to obtain email communications among Buttigieg, his staff, and La Casa officials. Ultimately, the courts will determine if Buttigieg and company conspired to break Indiana's public records laws. Whichever way the court sees it, the optics aren't good for Buttigieg when SBID shields the identity, actually, hides them, shields their identity of illegal aliens, even as it opens the door to taxpayer-funded services. Speaking of transparency or lack of it, the city's housing authority is under FBI investigation. This is South Bend. This is Mayor Pete's place. Under FBI investigation. It is noteworthy that as the mayor's mayor caters to a reputed 4,500 illegal aliens in South Bend. Legal residents there have long complained of mismanagement and misuse of federal funds at the city's rundown projects. Even eager to move other people's money around, Buttigieg suggested during a presidential debate that illegal aliens should be eligible for federal health insurance benefits. Such talk, according to this author, is, to say at the least, disturbing from a presidential candidate who seems comfortable trampling his constituents' rights to know that what his administration is up to, even as he aids foreign nationals in breaking our immigration laws. And again, I wish more people like this guy would refer to them as foreign nationals. That's what they are. I think if we call them by that, I think people would kind of understand it. These are foreign nationals. I agree, Rocky. Let's see. Yeah, I agree with you, Rocky, that, sanctuary cities, they are insane. You say, well, if you commit a crime, we're not going to call ICE. Well, the whole point is if they committed a crime, remember, they've been convicted of a crime, and you call ICE, say, hey, we got this guy, we're going to let him go. Or, hey, we arrested him, we're holding him, but do you want to put it, do you want to put an ICE hold on him? We have that up here where I live in Nye County, Nevada. We are definitely not a sanctuary city. In fact, our county commission voted to be not a sanctuary city, or a sanctuary county, I should say. And, law enforcement cooperates with ICE very well up here. And, if they have somebody they want to hold, we'll hold them for them. We're not going to hold them forever. 2 years later, hey, do you think about coming to get that guy? Oh, shit, that guy quit. I have his file now. Who are you talking about? No. Doesn't work that way. But anyway, so, you got to come get him at some point. But still, it's extra level. If somebody's here illegally, they've already broken the law, and now they're breaking more laws. This just shows they have no respect whatsoever for our laws, and those aren't the kind of people we need to be having running around. All right, let's take a look at the next story from New Jersey. New Jersey, where the water is great. I flew into Newark, New Jersey, and I made it the point I was not going to drink out of any water fountain. Not a good idea. Don't do it. But anyway, but Democrats run the entire city. That's why they've been real skeptical about calling out the mayor and stuff. Because, I guarantee if Newark was in a red state and that was run by, a red mayor, if you will, like, a Republican mayor, oh, my God, that'd be on MSNBC, CNN, everybody. It would be 24/7 nonstop. You wouldn't know what to do with yourself. But, it's a Democrat, and it's like, oh, we're not going to say anything. Okay. All right, so anyway, this story goes on to say, regarding education, forget rising college costs. New Jersey spent $4 million on financial aid for illegal immigrants. Despite landing among the top 5 states for highest student debt, now New Jersey spent nearly $4 million in financial aid for illegal aliens to attend college during both the fall and spring semesters of 2018 to 2019 school year, according to the New Jersey Record. Former Republican Governor Chris Christie opened the benefits spigot in 2013 by signing into law a bill allowing illegal immigrants to receive in-state tuition rates, but he would not agree to full financial aid benefits. Democratic Governor Phil Murphy had no reservations and last year agreed to a proposal to grant illegal aliens equal access to state financial aid because he said they are just as American as anyone else. Well, no, if you're an American, it means you're a U.S. citizen, and other than that, you're kind of working to get to that point. You're working, there are a lot of people who are really desperately working very hard to get to the point of being a U.S. citizen. And here's the sad part about that. For all those people out there that want to become U.S. citizens, that really just want to say, I want to be a U.S. citizen, they're doing everything, right. They're filing all the paperwork and, just doing everything correct. And they're staying out of trouble and not committing any crimes. They're good, honest people, hardworking, productive, add to the economy, add to GDP. Those people they're taking longer right now to get to the U.S. citizenship process because ICE and immigration, everybody else is so busy with this illegal immigration, refugee, whatever people coming across right now. So they're pulling people out of these field offices, saying, here, you're going to go stand on the border. It's like, oh, shit, I work in an office at AC. But still, those are less people to be able to process the actual paperwork of real honest people who want to become U.S. citizens. But of course they don't matter. If you're, you can be from the same country, the same village, probably grow up next to each other, and good friends with a guy who's an illegal. You're legal, working on your legal process, and meanwhile they care, and you say, hey, we got to do something about this illegal immigration. I know this guy; he's a friend of mine. I need to become a U.S. citizen, and we have to keep watching after him. It's less people to help me out. But if you're a legal immigrant, you have no say in the debate either. I mean, again, you mean from the same country as the illegal. Illegal, his position trumps your position, according to the people on the left. It's like, well, sorry. Well, no, but literally, we're both the same race, the same nationality, the same ethnicity. We grew up in the same freaking town. I could throw a rock in his house or my house, and you're saying his opinion means more than mine. They, well, yeah, of course. Why wouldn't it? And it's like, well, how do you fight that logic? You know. So, hey, Mo, good seeing you down there, Mo. But it's here right there. Hold on. Yep. Boom. There you go. But yeah. So anyway, so this guy, this guy goes on the right. All right. So anyway, Murphy agreed, had no reservation last year, agreed to a proposal to grant illegal aliens equal access to state financial aid because he said they are just as American as everyone else. Murphy's rhetorical naturalization is interesting considering one of the eligibility requirements for a financial grant is that the illegal immigrant sign an affidavit saying they will take the steps to be a legal citizen. While Murphy and backers of this this is kind of a funny twist of the story, you'll see in a second. While Murphy and backers of this reckless policy feel good about welcoming illegal aliens into their communities, they conveniently ignore the low-income students who might be denied an opportunity to attend college, or the 64% of students in the state who graduate with debt. The data released by New Jersey's Higher Education Student Assistance Authority showed that most of the $3.8 million was doled out under the New Jersey Tuition Aid Grant Program, which awards grants depending on financial need and available funding. In other words, a grant, I mean, you don't have to ever pay that back. It's not a student loan. That's a grant. You're granted it. You're given it. It's like, here, free money. You never have to pay it back. I mean, that money comes from somewhere, but these people are given grants. I mean, the majority of the $3.8 million spent on illegal, versus somebody who's a U.S. citizen wants a grant. Well, good luck. Get in line. Literally, get into a big ass long line. You're not going to get it. All right, Rutgers University, which received $1.3 million of the total $3.8 million, already offers a privately funded scholarships to illegal immigrant students. So why do they need to be given taxpayer funds? They already got money for that. Aren't the plethora of foundation grants and private scholarships available to illegal aliens? Murphy has claimed that spending state resources on illegal aliens is a matter of equity. But what about first fixing the inequities in New Jersey's already broken system? Exactly. Before you go help saving the world, saving the planet, why don't you try to save the United States first? Then after you save us, it's like the old saying, like you're flying on a plane and the plane, loses, depressurizes, and you have to put on your oxygen mask and they fall down, you get your kids sitting next to you. They always tell you, before you put your kid's mask on, you put your mask on first. If you don't take care of yourself, you're not going to be able to help your kid. So same thing here. Instead of trying to go find people to save from around the globe, why don't we just try to save the people that are here already? Like U.S. citizens and green card holders and stuff. We can help each other right now. We don't have to go find new people to try to help them. We can't help the ones that are here already. It doesn't make any sense to me. Doesn't make any sense to this author either. Okay, so anyway, furthermore, the report says that while New Jersey has one of the more largest state financial aid programs in the country, it is excuse me, grab some water real quick. All right, so thank you. Anyway, so let's see. Furthermore, the report says that while in New Jersey has one of the more largest state financial aid programs in the country, it is poorly targeted and generates less efficient results than a program one-tenth of its size. While proponents are right to note that its overall budgetary terms $3.8 million is a small amount, they are wrong to omit the potential for massive growth in spending on students in the country and the state illegally. In other words, typically you're starting out at $3.8 million. We know the government works. It's bureaucracy. They just want to keep sucking up more oxygen and more people to help and more money to spend. And it's like, well, we already spent this much. And next year it goes up a few million. Oh, it's only a few more million. Then you look back from 10 years ago, it's like, holy shit. We're spending a hell of a lot more money now. In 2018, the state legislature estimated that approximately 600 illegal aliens would submit applications, so the total cost would be if in other words, everybody submitted it, the total cost would be actually not 3.8 but 4.47 million, or about 1% of the total 425.9 million financial aid budget for college students in fiscal year 2019. But that estimate was based on the number of illegal aliens in New Jersey in 2015. The legislative analysis even considered that costs would increase to the extent that the access to the state's student assistance programs would actually encourage additional individuals to enroll. In other words, you say, okay, we're going to give you free stuff, just you people. Well, once other people hear that you're giving away free shit, everybody's going to run over there. So now you're going to run over to New Jersey. Now it makes it worse. Now it makes it even more worse. Makes it worse. Makes it worse for the people who are U.S. citizens who are already standing there and, saying, hey, I'd like some of this, free tuition. They know you can't have it. Why? Well, I gave it to this illegal alien over here. It's like, oh, great. But anyway, and with no cap on the number of applicants, the $5 million estimate will likely be exceeded in the coming years. Right, because if you're living, like, say, in Delaware or Pennsylvania and you hear New Jersey giving away free college tuition, well, I guarantee you your parents are going to just, pop you right over there and say, hey, let's go live here for a few minutes. So it might make Governor Murphy and proponents of free college for all comers feel good, but graduates with enormous student debt or the parents who cannot fulfill their child's dream of an education might feel a little bit differently. Exactly. All right. Yep. Let me load this. And this was Britt Hume talking about Joseph Biden, about his memory going bad and, that kind of stuff. This was a few days ago he wrote this. So, again, this was when Biden made a more recent mistake, talking about the Gang of 8 versus the Gang of 7. And then what was the other thing he did? He just did it, too. It was something stupid. It was, he couldn't remember if he was on a college campus or not, or which one he was at. There's something else. Oh, God. There's so many, they just keep popping up left and right. But there's something else. It's just like, this guy's just not all there. It's just not all there. I mean, it's one thing to make gaffes, but it's, it's a hell of a lot worse than it's worse than just making a gaffe when you're actually misstating, events. And then, I know what he did. He told this story about this guy, this Afghanistan war veteran. He pinned an award on, and like the whole story, like 3 of the 4 things about the story were wrong. Even the Washington Post gave him 3 Pinocchios, and he was pissed off about it. It's like, well, no, you were wrong. What do you want me to tell you? So. No one is answering. Oh, shit. Tony, I'll call you right back. Sorry. Hey, Tony.
Hello.
Hey, yeah, sorry about that. I got a little different setup here. I'm in a hotel room.
The whole story, like 3
Oh, you got to turn me off YouTube.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, hold on.
Am I on the air?
Yeah, you're on there. Yeah. No, I saw you put in the chat. You said no one's answering. Try to call, and I'm like, oh shit. So I quick called you.
Okay.
Why, you want to be on the air? You can hang up. You can.
No,
you okay?
Yeah, no,
Are you good? All right, cool. Okay.
That's why I called.
All right, good deal, man.
You're talking about immigration. I haven't heard from you in a while. Sometimes you come on, I'm sleeping because I got to be up at 2:30.
No, I haven't been on
anyway.
I haven't been on in 2 weeks. This is the first one I streamed.
Okay.
It's the first one I streamed. I've been really, really busy at work. That has to take priority. I got clients and stuff, so that has to take priority. So I haven't streamed in 2 weeks. And the reason why I didn't see your phone ring, because I'm in a hotel room. I went to New Jersey for that Minds conference against racism and hate and all that stuff. The thing that Antifa saying they were going to show up at and all that shit. So I flew into Newark Friday, and I was supposed to be at that conference today. I went over there, but I ran into a problem with the guys over there as far as recording stuff and everything, so I split. But yeah, I've been live streamed in 2 weeks, so no, you haven't missed me. I just haven't been on.
Okay. Well, that's cool. Yeah. What I wanted to ask you was your thoughts on Trump's. So you're talking about immigration. His plan to end catch and release, basically, to keep the families together, to build these, I guess you could, resorts almost.
Yeah, I mean, they sound pretty nice. Yeah, they sound pretty nice, actually, yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, to me, if it keeps, there's no price. I mean, because compared to the price of 1 million illegals coming in or more every year that we have to end up taking care of, that the price of those resorts and stuff is nothing compared to that, in my opinion. But I want to see what you thought about it, because it will virtually end catch and release, if they do it. So I'm
Right.
excited about it.
No, I'm excited about it too. And
So,
they were interviewing what's that guy's name? Oh, the guy who runs the immigration, whatever. But anyway, I had his. In fact, I had his press conference up, and if I was going to live stream, but I got real busy. In fact, I recorded his press conference and everything. I even put all kinds of headers and stuff on it. But he said this was done under the Obama administration, where they had it down to about 50 days, 50 days. He goes, look, we can do this pretty much in 50 days. It's just that we can't do it in 20. So he goes, by being able to do this and keep them all together, and they'll have expedited process. But the law is going to be, it's not like 20 days, 30 days, 40 days, 50 days. It's when you have to stay in custody until you get heard. But he goes, what he's saying was, look, the incentive is on us to get these people heard as quick as possible because we're spending a lot of money on this. We can't keep everybody forever. We don't want to keep everybody forever. But 90% of the people that go through those asylum hearings get denied because they don't really have a real asylum claim. So no, I was very happy about it. I was going to live stream about it, but I got busy. That was like last week. It was like shit, couldn't even do it.
yeah. So I mean, you combine that with the wall. The wall is being built. Contrary to what people are trying to lie and say it's not being built because it's replacing an old metal fence. It's now a triple barrier. 20 feet high, but
it looked good.
Them, they want, it's still a wall being built, and they're doing it in the main spot first. So you got the wall being built, you got possibly the end of catch and release, and then now you have Trump talking about ending birthright citizenship. I mean, if we can accomplish those three things, illegal immigration will not be an issue anymore. I mean, they'll stop coming.
Yeah, you remove the incentives to come up here to begin with. I mean, that they saw. See, from June, I think June they saw was when Mexico took over, allowing asylum seekers to stay in Mexico pending their immigration hearing. It dropped the number down like 24%, and then in June, and then I think it was another 22% in July. So it was a total of like 46% decrease from May till August 1. So it was a pretty substantial, because they removed the incentive because they're told, which means their asylum claims are total bullshit because they're not. In other words, they're saying, okay, you can come and seek asylum, you got to hang out in Mexico while we go through. It's like, oh, they're like, screw that. I was just lying to get into the United States. I don't want to hang out in Mexico. I could have walked into Mexico any day of the week. Why do I want to do that? So it showed that their asylum claims were just total horseshit. They weren't asylum claims. So. Did you ever see that? You ever see that video that somebody put up there? It showed President Obama, and he had Joe Biden next to him back in 2014, saying, "Hey, I was a constitutional law professor. Asylum claims are not immigration. Wanting a better life. Asylum claims are very technical and very specific, and most people won't qualify for them. So if you're going to come up here, don't. And you're probably going to have to go back home anyway." Did you ever see somebody put that up on YouTube? It was great from 2014. There's Obama talking all shit. I'm like, yeah, damn right. There you go.
Absolutely, man. Yep, I saw it. Chuck Schumer, Obama, all of them.
Yeah.
But yeah, most of these asylum claims are fake. Even the guy that died, that him and his daughter died. They went down there and talked to his mother, and she said he just wanted a better job. He got denied at the border. He decided to try to cross the river with a 4-year-old and drowned her. The only person I feel horrible for is the poor child. But
right.
He wanted a better job. And his claim was he was fleeing, danger and all this and that, the third, and it was he didn't like his job at the pizza shop. So he wanted to get a job at a pizza shop in America,
Right? No,
so
I mean, right.
I mean, come on.
Well, I don't understand the concept though of like taking your daughter into the Rio Grande. I mean, Jesus. I mean, what kind of idiot would do that? I mean, you have to be a complete moron saying, "Hey, that looks like a good thing to do. You and I swim. You're only 4, which means you can't barely swim in a kiddie pool if you can swim at all. And so if something happens to me, you're dead. So let's make this run. Let's do it. It's like, what the hell?"
Right.
I mean, I couldn't make any sense. But yeah, I saw that when they interviewed the mom. She said, "No, we're fine down here. We're not being like." Well, I guess it wasn't so bad. He left his mother behind to get persecuted. The mother's like, "No, it's fine down here." Well, the best story. I saw it. I know you saw this. The one, remember that little girl they put on Time magazine looking up at the president crying and stuff, and he was looking down like, "Rrr." And then it turned out she was
Absolutely.
actually, yeah, she was married to the guy who was actually a pilot, a boat pilot for like the, for in El Salvador, which is a very prestigious job all the way around the world. People who have those jobs around the world. Is a lot of prestige because you're bringing the big ships in, the big tankers in. And he had a good job, good middle class job, and she had enough money to pull like 10 grand out of the bank and take her and her daughter with her. And so she wasn't like in any kind of danger. She just wanted to, I don't know, probably get divorced or something. I don't know.
Yeah, I know. It's story after story. The Democrats are down there giving them paperwork to read. To, tell them.
Yeah.
This, I mean, coaching them. It's ridiculous. But
Yeah.
I'm thrilled. Because legal immigration is a big problem, and I feel like Trump's finally doing something about it. So we got to just make sure he gets reelected so that everything can get seen through here.
Yeah, well, we're all working on it to get it done. So hopefully we just all. Oh, again, we all got to show up. It can't be 2018 all over again. Where people. I don't understand why people stay home in the midterms. I've never understood that. It just it's so easy. I mean, you voted. Actually, it's easier to vote in the midterms because there's less lines. If you think about it, right? 2016,
Yeah.
a lot. If you're going to run into a line, it's going to be in 2016 or 2020. 2018. I mean, well, hell, in 2016, in Nevada, we have the best early voting. It's 2 full weeks, including weekends, and weekends. You can vote on weekends, and then I go the second week, like on a Wednesday, like at 2 o'clock in the afternoon. I walk in, literally, there's nobody in front of me. I sign the book. I walk over. I'm literally from the time I walk through the main door to the time I'm walking back out that door, it's like 5 minutes. Because I already got it all
Yeah,
marked who I'm going to vote for. So I mean, if you don't vote in this country, I don't know. I mean, Jesus. I mean, I have no
Right.
idea. I have no idea. I don't know how you can call yourself an American and not go to the polls once every 2 years. I mean, just once every 2 years. I mean, God, make a day of it. I don't know. Plan something.
Exactly.
Whatever.
And,
Make a sandwich.
Exactly. And I mean, I don't know about where everybody else is at, but I mean, for me, there's places to vote everywhere. I mean,
Yeah.
it's not like you have to drive 100 miles to find a voting booth,
Right, because you're in Florida.
Maybe you live
Yeah.
in the middle of the woods, but
No, but like you're in Florida. I know you have early voting. You have early voting down there, right?
yeah.
Yeah, like it's probably like ours, where you're right, they have polling places. A friend of mine who's a liberal was he lives in Las Vegas, and he says they were planning a certain day to go vote, him and his wife, and they were in the mall shopping, and they looked over, there was a voting station in the mall, and they're like, there was nobody there, and he's like, well, shit, screw 2 days from now, let's go right now. They said, yeah, okay, boom, and they were in and out. I can't fathom. Great Jerkbag talks about this a lot too. He's like, I'll give people rides if they want. Then he called, which really pissed me off. He said he called his local Republican Party headquarters saying, hey, do you have some kind of a list for people who can volunteer to give people rides if they need a ride to on the polls, like, match them up with my area and stuff. And they said, oh, no, we don't do that. And I said, you damn sure bet the Democrats are doing it. They're doing that. And the Republicans like,
they're
yeah.
doing more than that.
Yeah, and they said, "Oh, we're too busy to worry about hooking you up with like 4 or 5 or 6 people who need a ride to go vote."
Right, they're literally knocking on people's doors, asking if they vote if they're voting Democrat, and if so, that they'll give them a ride to the booth.
Yeah,
I witnessed it. I witnessed it happen live. It was actually on Mo Restout's channel. He was speaking with Hope Coleman, and this lady, and it was during one of the runoffs. You're not even supposed to still be voting, and this lady is knocking on her door, asking, well, basically going into a black neighborhood, assuming that most are all going to vote Democrat, saying some of the votes didn't get counted right. We need, if you come with me now, we're going to go down there and vote right now. But she shocked her and said that she's a Republican. And then the lady seemed not interested anymore. But, I've seen it happen, and I know they're doing that,
Well,
so,
no. I mean,
Republicans need to get on board.
Yeah. I mean, that's legal. If you want to give somebody a ride, that's fine. Effie was talking about like how they go in with like, people with autism, they actually go into the voting booth with them, which is wrong. But you're allowed to give people rides to the polls. You're allowed to put them all on a bus to drive the bus down the street and say, any Democrats out there? And then they could lie and say, yeah, me. And it's like, oh, here's a bus ride. We're giving you a bus ride to the polls because you're not going to the voting booth with them. You can transport people to the polls all day long. So I mean, that's what I'm saying. Here's a great dirtbag calling to his local Republican Party saying, "Hey, I want to do that," and they're saying, "Oh no, that might require us to actually do something." Sorry, it's like
that's horrible.
Florida's not
That's
Florida.
horrible.
Florida's a swing state again in 2020. Florida's not a given. I mean, Florida's definitely not a given. So I mean, you need every vote.
No.
What 562 votes was 2,000. You got a guy willing to pick up 6 or 7 people or 10. I mean, shit.
Right. Absolutely.
We got to get better organized. I mean, but like fast. I mean, like now. So
Yeah.
I was gonna say. But all right, man. Hey, man. Thanks
All
for
right,
the call. Thanks for calling in. Totally cool.
Hey, thanks for taking my call, man. I appreciate it, and I'll call again.
Oh, you got it. Yeah, I came in. Like I said, I came in a little bit early because like I'm on East Coast time and I'm all messed up because I'm on the East Coast right now. But all right, man. Hey, take care.
All right, man. Yeah, I'll call back. I'll call back next time. Appreciate it, bro. Thanks.
Will do. All right. Bye-bye.
All right. Bye.
And that was a great Tony Patriot on the phone. Really good phone call there. Tony's been on our panel shows, and of course, Tony has his own site as well. I know everybody knows that because everybody on here, like me, is on Tony's site also. So anyway, if you didn't know, like if you're under a rock or something, Tony Patriot has his own site. Of course, everybody knows American Joe has his own site. Again, unless you're under a rock or something. But yeah. But yeah, and Tony does his own panel shows also, his call-in shows, video call-in shows and stuff too. But yeah, it's a nice thing about YouTube. A lot of technology out there that we're able to use to bring a lot of us together and stuff. And like I always said, the big thing the Democrats are trying to tell us, during the 2016 run, was that we're alone. There's nobody that thinks like we do. There's nobody that is thinking about illegal immigration the way we do. They're thinking about jobs the way we do. They're thinking about sending jobs offshore the way we do, or trade or deficits or things like that. And then the nice thing about the internet in 2016 is it showed people through like YouTube videos and probably Facebook and stuff also that, hey, you're not alone. Hey, look, you can you go to this guy's site, he's saying the same thing you're saying. It's like, whoa, and then he offers some, other kind of explanations and answers that you haven't thought about. Like today, a couple of different times, I talked about that myself. Somebody will give me an idea. I didn't think about that. Like, hey, and the nice thing about it, as long as you're willing to say, hey, you're willing to learn, somebody, talk to you about something, and you're willing to learn, open your mind, you can, it's like the internet, YouTube could be like one big encyclopedia. It's like huge, all these different sources coming at you from different places and stuff. So, but anyway, tell you what, it's about 9:23. I've been on for almost an hour and a half. I'm going to go cut out the live stream a little bit earlier than I normally do just because of the traveling and stuff. I got to travel tomorrow, too. I know it's kind of chicken shit, and stuff, but it's just it's a whole time difference and bouncing around and the red-eye flights and all that kind of shit. And since I took off Friday, I'm back in the office on Monday. I got a full schedule Monday back at my office. I know it's a holiday. I'm supposed to not be working, but when you're self-employed, the old saying is, people say, oh, you're self-employed. Wow, you can set your own hours. That's so cool. It's like, yeah, you can work as little as you want to starve when you're self-employed. If you want to starve, you can do that. Plus, when you're an attorney, there's this whole ethical thing on top of it because you got to take care of your clients. It's like, well, it's a holiday, so I can't take care of you. But I need this. You have to get it done. It's like, I need you to do this. It's like, well, sometimes you don't work holidays. There's one judge that I appear in front of a lot now. She was telling a story because this one deputy DA was supposed to get something done before the first of the year. When they came back after the first of the year, the first court date, it was supposed to be done, but it wasn't. And so he tells the judge, he goes, well, I had this vacation with my family, over Christmas. And this is like one of the hardest working judges I've ever met. It just let you know. So anyway, so she's like, And it was the worst thing to say to her. She goes, "Do you realize I had a cruise, to go on, and it was all prepaid, and it was non-refundable, and airline tickets to get to the location where the cruise ship was taken up from, all these plans in these different locations. I had it all set. I think she had it set for like 2 weeks or a week and a half, 2 weeks." And she goes, and all of a sudden, the day before the 4th of July weekend, 13 separate motions come in from 13 separate, opposing parties on the it's one big massive case, and they're all done in order shortening times, which means like you have to respond quickly. So she had to cancel her cruise, lose all her money and everything because those were her clients, and she had to, take care of responding on their behalf. And so, she just looked at him like incredulously. So when you're self-employed, you find yourself working more hours than you do when you're not self-employed, when you actually work for somebody else. And then when you add the fact you're an attorney, then you have, there is no such thing as an 8 to 5 attorney. At least not a good one. I mean, you work when it's important to get something done and everything. So anyway, with enough said about that. So anyway, I'm going to cut this live stream a little bit short tonight. Just going to do about an hour and a half. But I want to thank everybody who's been in the chat room, and thanks to American Joe and Tony Patriot for the great phone calls. Really enjoyable there. And so for Carl's opinion, this is Carl. And I want to thank everybody for joining our live stream tonight, and all those who will be viewing later as well. So, okay, everybody have a great one. We'll see you on the next one. Take care. Bye-bye.